Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. So, this might not have been the best time to do this. There is a hell of a lot happening on YouTube, but I had a minute and I wanted to talk to you guys. We hadn't got to talk about what happened Thursday and Friday in court. So, I'm just going to hang out with you guys and we're going to go through it. Also, I have new internet. So, I'm really hoping and praying that we have no issues. I'm outside. It's Starlink and freaking things like literally 15 feet from me in the yard. See? Hi. So we're going to go over some of this stuff. I found a really great article and a couple videos. So Thursday, I'm going to say hello to you guys, but I just want to say a couple things. The babysitter testified. We'd all been waiting. She had done interviews and stuff like that, but her daughter also testified. Now, during her daughter's testimony, Leilani had a little attitude and said, that's an effing lie. And I found a little clip of that. We're going to start there, go through an article, go through some of the videos, and just hang out and kind of watch it together. So that is the plan. Hopefully I sound okay. Hey, Natasha, let me know, you guys. Hey, hippie chick. Hey, curious Christine, Lisa, Tony. Hey, Adrian. Hey, Bogart. Get me a snack. Hey, Ryan. Good to see you guys. Kathy, did you see the Eagles I posted? That was like a couple days ago. And then today I walked out of the front door on the way to the car and two of them, it might have been the same two, I don't know, flew right over me. It's crazy because I keep seeing them everywhere. Hey, Emily, I want to send, hey, Nature Rocks, a little bit of extra love to Grammy Nene because her family suffered a horrific tragedy. And I'm not going to share that, of course. It's personal, but just send her a little bit of extra love because I know she could use it right now. So, yeah. Hey, Kate the Great. Sound is great. Yay. Did you see him? Hey, Jameson. Good to see you. My God, y'all, YouTube is on fire. I don't even know how to feel about it. I have so many thoughts about this lawsuit that's came out. You know, I just want to say, like, it truly gets me so upset at times. I'm like, I just want to like not even talk true crime anymore because the standards that we accept have gotten so low. It is really, truly heartbreaking. You know, at the end of the day, yeah, we're just people, but we are on here talking about real people's worst moments. And we have to do that with a little bit of respect, a little bit of dignity, some pride, kindness, you know, that kind of stuff. And it gets lost and it is so upsetting. It's a lot to process. It is, and hiding from it all. Well, that's why we're going to talk about this and just, I have to escape from it. I've been listening to Deets all day, which I'm thankful that she read through it. Let me drop her link. But I'm ready to get on to some other stuff. Okay, so first, let me show you what Leilani did when the babysitter's daughter testified. Hopefully, like, the video plays okay, too. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn off the background. Yeah, but, dude, it just makes me want to run away. For real. Okay. Because I just want to give us the best shot we have at possibly watching this stuff, and we'll take it back to a throwback, the old tie-dye. Now, here is Leilani saying that is an effing lie. Let me see. Okay. The faces that she makes, oh my God, y'all. I mean, the anger inside of me watching her, looking at Quinton's remains, looking at the people as they talk and their claims just with such an attitude. Like, how dare you? Who do you think you are, lady? You are here for doing something horrific to your precious baby. Oh my gosh, I have to show you guys this video of Quinton before we get started. That Claus sent me, and I'm so thankful. I need to take some time to chat with her. But let me show you this video that was posted before we get into this. Hey, Chapped. Oh, thank you, Chapped. Yeah, we got some wrenches back. Okay. Y'all got to see this. This is just freaking sweet. If it would send. Okay. While we wait on that, we're going to go ahead and get started. I pulled this. Well, here it goes. This, they did a really great job. But before we go to that, look at this, you guys. This is Quinton. Oh my God. The video's blurry, by the way. That's not the internet. It's just the video. Be careful. This is what it's all about, okay? Look at that baby. This is what it's all about. And then that's the stuff that like kind of brings me back down where I'm just ready to walk away. Then I think, no, it's important to talk about this stuff. He was so cute. That little laugh, you know, and Quinton Simon's memorial. Let's just look at one more thing here. These pictures. Look at him. Oh my God. Like, he's the sweetest little baby. Oh my God. It just breaks my heart, you guys. All chapped. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that so much. I'm sure some over-exaggerate in these situations, but I would bet most of what is said is true about Leilani. Well, I was going to ask you guys that, you know, because what they say that she used to do is absolutely horrific. The nerve of her I just can't get over it, but I'm with you. Hey, Grandma Sherry, I wonder if her mom will testify that Leilani abused him. I don't know. I'm curious about her testimony too. Hey, Jinky, I'm glad that you're here. Oh my God, he's so cute. It just breaks my heart completely. So this is the babysitter, and we're going to watch some of her testimony in just a few minutes. This is the pillow in the pack and play. Oh, okay. So we're going to come over here for a minute. So Leilani Simon trial. This is Savannah now, and they are extremely detailed, and I really appreciate that. So if you guys are looking for any sources, I'm telling you, they are a great one. Leilani Simon, the Savannah mother. Oh, just keep changing it. I'm sorry. The Savannah mother on trial for murdering her 20-month-old son. Hold on. Okay, sorry. That audio was still going. I don't know if y'all could hear it. It was unnerving. Quinton Simon, and disposing of his body in a dumpster in October 2022, told investigators that she had driven to a Chevron on the night she last saw her son to borrow Oragel from a friend. That friend, Melissa Missy Bray, testified in court on Thursday. She never gave Oragel to Leilani and had not seen her former co-worker since around July when Leilani borrowed a gas can which she never returned. I'm not surprised about that, but let's see. Now, they referenced the defense attorney's cross-examination of Danny. I'm curious what you guys thought about that, because I know a lot of people thought, you know, the defense is doing a pretty good job. But for me, I felt like he overdoes it. He could make a comment or ask a question about something once or twice and make his point. But it's like he hammers it until it's almost offensive and kind of aggressive. I swear the babysitter has a halo. Thank God for them, you know. Jinky, I'm the same way. I'm listening while I'm cleaning and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Stacy Bobacy. Aw, chapped. Well, I love that. And I'm glad that you're here. Hey, Trio Girl Mom. Okay, so I didn't like that, but, you know, I'm sure opinions are all over with the defense attorney. Then they called David Mullen. He is the facility manager at Eclipse Advantage. This is where Leilani, Paul, and Danny worked. He testified to Danny and Leilani's time cards, which were provided to the FBI. He testified Leilani did not come into work on the day of Quinton's disappearance, and Danny left early, running out of the warehouse when he received Leilani's call that Quinton was missing. A pediatrician and a pediatric cardiologist took the witness stand. They said that at 13 months old, Quinton was healthy and happy, but she did hear a heart murmur and referred him to a pediatric cardiologist. Then the pediatric cardiologist came on, and he talked about two issues that he found. One was common, and the other was a coronary fistula. He said these are minor health issues, though. Then we had Paul. He called Quinton an angel, and he testified that Danny had a decent relationship with Quinton. It really seems like from everyone we've heard that, Danny was the one doing the parenting, in between the drinking and all of the stuff that was going on there, which it's really unfortunate. You guys know how I feel. I just don't think anybody doing that kind of stuff needs small children. If you're going to snort cocaine at all, if that's the kind of choices that you're making, you are not responsible enough to have a small child. Hey, Riley. Hey, Lariah. Bogart, thank you for being a member for 3 months. And thank you. I appreciate that. I just don't like it. And thank God, one of the other kids wasn't hurt as well, being around all that stuff. I just, but I'm still, I don't know. So then the next two witnesses, this is what we're really going to talk about, spoke about Leilani's alleged poor treatment of Quinton. Melanie Bowling testified that she met, now this is the one who talked about the seance. And I told you guys in August, they had a hearing where the defense wanted to keep her testimony out. And, they did decide against that, but, oh, great. Well, happy Mother's Day to you guys in Argentina. I've been watching about, isn't that where the Liam Payne situation happened? More lip smacking from Cutie Pie. The seance. I mean, I don't even want to get into that. We've talked about it on, Deet's channel and Melissa's channel. And, I need to drop the link in case Jen wanted to come up. I forgot to do that. So in the last testimony of the day, a 17-year-old babysitter testified to 3 incidents where Leilani allegedly abused Quinton. She testified Leilani pushed Quinton from behind into a pool without a flotation device, backhanded slapped him after he ran into the street without supervision, and pushed him after he broke Leilani's brother's PlayStation controller. So that was in reference to Thursday. So now we're going to get over here and watch some of this together, but let me just check on you guys. Hey, MK. Liam Payne passed. Oh my gosh, I've been watching all kinds of stuff about that. Have you guys seen that? I mean, it appears someone at the hotel may have sold him drugs or something, but it is so sad. And I really went down a rabbit hole watching stuff about that and P. Diddy last night and this morning. And then I got stuck in Deets all day. I go in there and I just get stuck. It's like quicksand. You can't get out because the conversation is just so, I don't know, interesting and important as well. Okay. So let's watch this together. Let's just watch her.
Miss Parker. You can tell the jury.
There's my Bendy.
Michelle McCarter.
Let me drop the link, Jen. I'm sorry.
And are you the mom of Talia that we heard testify yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you know the defendant in this case, Leilani Simon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you also know Daniel Youngkin?
Yes, ma'am.
First, let me ask you guys, did you find this witness credible? Are there any witnesses that you don't find credible at all? I'm really curious about that. I really find them all credible to a degree. Now it does. I'm with you, Natasha. Like there are times when it seems like there might be some exaggerating happening, Music City Mom, or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, I certainly find, okay, look, to me, a child who's 17 years old that's going to go testify like this, they're going to be told, you swear on a Bible. I just don't see them lying. I found her credible, Michelle says. Debbie, I sat out of the seance lady a little bit. I cannot remember my freaking command for that, but let's see. I got confused too Sunday because the girls had said it's the babysitter's sister, but so it's this woman's daughter that testified. It's just because the older sister, I believe, was technically the one watching him. It's a little confusing for me too. Riley, I think everyone has their own biases, but I've found them all credible in their own ways. Neat. I believed her and most of the others so far. Seance lady is a tad questionable. I can't imagine ever putting hands on such a special boy or any child for that matter. I can't imagine just, I don't know, having feelings, negative feelings towards your child because their dad's not around or not involved, or you have issues with dad or whatever it may be. I just don't get that. It's really hard for me to comprehend that. But, everybody's different. But, hey, Denise. Hey, Teacup. I just don't get it. Many of us have had complicated relationships and kids with, look, we choose the people we have kids with, 99.9% of the time, unless you're a victim of some sort of something where you don't get to choose. We choose who we have kids with, so it's a little frustrating. And I don't know. Seance lady was a loon. The prosecution shouldn't have called her, Scott says. I believe that seance lady believes what she testified to, Neat, except for maybe that, I don't know. There are I don't know. Maybe I'm just putting my own feelings, or because there are parts of what she said that did feel exaggerated. Oh, Denise, thank you for gifting. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. Welcome to the members. All right.
And did you know their children?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know Quinton's eye?
Yes, ma'am.
Before we get deeper into this, I want to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 29. May I approach your honor?
Yes.
Ms. McCarter, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 29. Do you recognize this?
Yes, ma'am.
There was a point in time where I guess I questioned the babysitter a little more, and I think that's just because of the online fuss. It's kind of crazy when we think about what's happening with Sebastian's case or other cases that are just unfolding. We don't know the truth. We don't know what police have. We just don't know. Oh my gosh, Chapped. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's so freaking sweet. Thank you. And welcome to the members. But it's crazy when we get to find out the truth, and it's so different from the narratives that have been pushed on social media, from the rumors. I mean, just like with Danny, a lot of people are even still kind of questioning, could he be involved? Get real. The fact that is just conspiratorial bullshit. And this is a little child, okay? This is a real person. I know it might be entertainment to some people and shit like that, but I'm getting a little frustrated with that, because they have shown Danny cooperated. They have shown Leilani telling Danny, the only thing you didn't know about was the Oragel. To me, they have proven that he wasn't involved, and you still have conspiracies spinning. But I guess, it's more interesting for people or something. I don't know. It really is sick. That was so sweet, Chap. Thank you. This is a case that deserves a lot of attention. Oh, thank you. That's another thing. It's crazy, all the attention that's on it when it was some kind of, I don't know, when they could be out there freaking protesting and stuff. But now, it's just, I don't know. It's disappointing. I get where you guys are coming from. The ones questioning him, I don't like it. It's like, dude, ooh, I love your picture, Jameson. It's pretty pointless to me, but that's just in my opinion. The only problem I had with Danny was that he should have left Leilani sooner. I get that. Sandy and the beach. I guess, and he was kind of asked about that. He didn't want to leave his daughter. Thank you, Debbie, for becoming a member. Oh, and another thing before I press play again, because this pissed me off and I need to vent about this. The freaking defense tried to have, in my opinion, just trying to make it more difficult for the prosecution, wanted them to not reference the children's names, their birth dates, or any identifying information. Then they have the damn nerve to get Danny up there and not only ask him if he has custody of Sky, but who does. The fact that he asked who does, and I don't care if he thought it would be answered, objected to, or not. At the end of the day, Danny could have answered that. He could have straight up said where she was. And let me tell you what, that shows me that you don't give a damn, not a damn, about those kids' privacy. It was all about making it difficult for the prosecution, and I'm not happy about it. It's bullshit. B Crumbs, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you. Y'all don't have to do that, for real. Yeah, thank you. We have a special guest. Let me make sure since I dropped in the chat this time. Hello.
Hello.
What you doing?
I've taken a break to come live with you from what I've been working on all day. Just taking a little break. Going to come live with you for a bit.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you're here.
Thanks for having me. I haven't watched this at all. I haven't seen anything that she had to say.
Oh, okay. Well, awesome then, because I can't wait to hear what you think. But did you hear? So Michelle, I think, didn't know what I just mentioned, which was, you remember how the defense wanted them to keep the baby's name, but then they ask where Sky is at. To me, that just shows that it was all bullshit. But what do you think?
Well, I mean, they made a big deal, and what they were asking, they were really not asking it of the court. They were asking the media, court TV, Law and Crime. Even though there's a 30-minute delay, they felt like because there's a 30-minute delay between what's coming to the court and what's streamed on their YouTube channels, that should be enough time for them to beep out their names. And
right,
which, I get what he was saying, but then, like you said, he then went and talked about Danny and Leilani's youngest child together, and I was just like, well, what was the point then? Like, why did you stand up and make a fuss if you were just going to use their name?
Well, to me, it seemed like it turned into a request of the media, but at first he was just, I don't know, because remember they were then they kind of brought up the media and how I don't know, Jen, I just felt like he was trying to be difficult or just make it harder. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm just judgmental as hell and annoyed with them, but
well, you have, okay, so one of the things that's if you have to keep in the back of your brain whenever you're watching these trials is everybody in the courtroom is keenly aware that it's being streamed. And sometimes people say things that are not actually for the benefit of those people listening in the courtroom. They're for everybody else.
Right.
You're right. Perhaps this was a small maneuver away to, these are court appointed attorneys. It's not like Leilani retained them and they accepted the retainer, which is an agreement between the attorney and the person paying, the defendant in this case, right? So that is they're seeking, the Leilani in this case didn't retain them. So these attorneys are forced to represent her. Okay. And kind of like Tellini, how
Yeah.
I think it might have actually been just a teeny gesture to remind people that he has a job to do. This is his job. This isn't what he chose. He didn't
Right.
choose her as a client. He didn't ask, she didn't ask him, and he thought about it and he said, you know what? Yeah, I'll represent you. He was appointed. Maybe, so sometimes I have to remember
No,
that.
yeah, me too. You're right. And it's hard, but like even Letitia Stauch's lawyer, you guys, if you don't know, we believe it was him, spoke out in an article about how hard it was to represent this woman who killed an 11-year-old boy and sat there in court and laughed and played and joked and was hated, and he became hated for it, and how hard that was on him because he didn't want to do it, but he had to.
Yeah. He didn't even like her as a person. And Natasha says, I get that he's snarky, but he's also got a job to do, and nobody wants an appeal because of shitty representation, aside from Leilani, obviously. Well, I'll say this, Natasha, almost immediately the first thing they're going to try is an ineffective assistance of counsel. That happens almost all the time. Okay. And you're right, though. But when that happens, the former attorney has to come and there's a hearing and they have to testify.
Yeah.
And so and the judge is being overly cautious. She's making rulings out of an abundance of caution because she doesn't want her rulings overturned.
Well, okay. Before I go any further, I just want to say thank you to Crime Crochet and Coffee and tell you, Jen, in the chat, like, just because it came to my mind, but thank you for being here and having this conversation with me and you guys joining in the chat, because like I don't know, this trial, like watching it just has me emotionally on edge. And then like the other day when it started getting cold, a lot of you guys know last year at this time, I suffered like a great loss to me that I just can't get over. And so like all the feelings are back because it's just like that feeling in the air.
Yeah.
And it'll be a year on the 27th. And it feels better to be here with you guys and be able to talk through it. But yeah, it's tough emotionally, like watching some of this. So thank you.
It's very hard, babe. And just like we got through it last year, we're going to get through it this year too. Okay. I promise. We're going to get through it. I'm here for you. You know that.
I know. And thank you. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome, babe. And that's what friends do for each other. If the shoe was on the other foot, I know you would be the first one.
Oh, absolutely. I would. But yeah, it's just hard, man. Like
it's hard. That's why I had to take a break. That's why I could have, streamed Leilani and then streamed Boone, but yeah. I need a break from Leilani. It's very, very heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy. And I know that the upcoming testimony, the testimony that's going to be the hardest, but also the most important is the medical examiner. And I know that's coming. And so if I can put a little something, have like a little downtime in between, because to me, hearing what happened that night into the early morning hours, what happened to Quinton, as hard as it is for us to hear, he is the one that went through it. So I feel like it is incumbent upon us, as hard and difficult as it is for us to listen to, we should listen to it. We should understand. He went through it. And
hey, man, you're right. That makes us feel like such a whiny ass to sit here and be like, this is so hard to listen to. Well, yeah,
that's not it. That's not my point at all. But I want us to understand. And that's why I took a break, because I know I'm going to stream that part. I want to hear it. I know that it's going to be difficult for us to hear. And we went through this exact thing, sadly, with Gannon as well. That medical examiner's testimony was incredibly hard, but we made it through. We got through it all together, and we will get through it together again.
Yeah, you're right.
We will. We'll get through it together again. We have this little community of ours that, we've been through a lot of stuff together. If you think about it, this little community, We've been through some really, really heavy, heavy trials
Yeah.
together, and we'll get through it. Don't cry. You make me so sad. Joan has the sads.
It's just so sad.
It
all
is
of
sad.
it. And then,
It is.
like, I don't know. Just,
It is. And to be criticized as if we don't take it seriously because we had a moment of levity is such a slap in the face.
oh, I
You
know.
know?
Yeah.
And I want to make it very, very clear about what I have regrets about. I don't regret what I said. I regret saying it on Melissa's panel. It felt like I was being messy in somebody else's house. That's the part I regret. I meant what I said. When I said lighten the fuck up, that's exactly what I meant.
Yeah. No, you didn't. You actually weren't even that aggressive or anything. I mean, I thought it was completely understandable, your reaction, but people don't understand. Like, I don't know. Even the people in the courtroom were laughing at certain things that happened. Yeah, I'm so sick of hearing that. And yeah, you guys are so sweet. I appreciate you. Love you, Grandma Sherry, Natasha, all you guys. For real. It means a lot to me. Okay.
All right.
You ready to hear this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and without saying what's in it, is it a photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and does it fairly and accurately depict what is in the photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, we tender what's been marked as State's Exhibit 29 into evidence, please.
No objection. Okay, Exhibit 29 is admitted without objection.
Okay. And now that it's in evidence, can you tell us what this is a picture of?
This is a picture of Quinton when I was off. We took him to a lobster to eat.
Okay. So in this photograph, he was out with you.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may I publish this to the jury?
Yes, you may. Thanks.
I'm just going to do it old school.
Okay.
The way she was looking at that, like, not to pause already, but it's like the way she was looking at that, it just makes me emotional because I don't know. I'm emotional anyways. Y'all just ignore me sometimes because, whew, I can be a lot. All right.
Ms. McCarter, how did you first become acquainted with the defendant and Daniel?
Through a church lady that went to church with us for many years,
Okay, and who was the church lady? What was her name?
Sandra Howell.
Okay, and was she related to them in some way?
She was the sister of Billy Joe's husband.
Okay, so that would be, she was the sister of the defendant's stepfather?
Yes.
Okay, and did she introduce you to them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was the purpose of her introducing you to them?
She had been keeping the children and her knee got real bad. So she asked if me or my daughter or both could watch them because she wasn't able to do that anymore.
How many daughters do you have?
I have 3 daughters.
Okay, and which daughter was going to help babysit?
Maritza McCarta.
Okay, and is that your oldest daughter?
No, she's 19. She's my middle.
She's the
Thank you,
So-
Crime Crochet and Coffee. Thank you so much. Pigeon?
So now you understand how they're related.
Yes.
Okay. And I believe that when we were watching things from the quote unquote babysitter, when she gave her interviews, obviously on social media, it was this lady. And I think what she was doing is stepping in front of her daughters to protect them.
That makes sense.
She
Yeah.
said she was saying things that she had seen, but also probably some things that she had been told by her children. But she was the voice for the family as the quote unquote babysitter. She took a rash of shit online as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She did a lot. It was bad. It even had me questioning if she was believable at the time. I remember, like, because, like, it was a process for me to understand sometimes what these channels were doing, like calling out true crime channels. And then once I started to see it and, like, kind of think of it, these are real people, and that, like, this shit is too far. It's going, like, people are too invasive and that kind of stuff. it was a process the way I viewed things. So it took a minute for me to really fully see it for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see things differently, but at this time I kind of fell into and believed some of it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I wondered if she was telling the truth, but all right.
The middle one, and then
Yes.
Talia's the youngest.
Yes.
Okay. So did you go and meet with the defendant and her family to perhaps babysit the children?
No, ma'am. Billy Joe had called me on the phone a couple days later.
Uh-oh.
Remember approximately when this
Sorry.
was?
We started watching Quinton and them around the end of January, February of 2022.
Okay. And that would have been before Sky was born.
Yes.
So at that time, when you first started babysitting, there were just the two boys.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And about how old would the boys have been then?
Quinton was young, maybe 9 months, 10 months.
Okay. So they would have been, Zane would have been a toddler.
Yes.
Quinton would have been an infant.
Yes.
When you first started babysitting.
Yes.
So how did it work? Who brought the kids to your house?
Most of the time, Danny. Once in a while, Leilani.
All right.
Now she's going to make some pretty big claims in a minute, but before we get into that, I want to ask you, do you like, how do you feel about this prosecutor versus the man? Do you have any thoughts about it? Do you think, like, I really enjoy listening to him. I think he does a good job, but I don't have any complaints about her.
No, neither do I. I think that it's possible that this is a witness that this attorney is the one that prepped, and they have a relation. They have, you know, like a familiarity. They're familiar with each other.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, I just want to make just like a really quick comment. You know, it's so interesting to me to watch this trial, and in comparison to Sarah Boone. And I'll tell you why. Because whenever anybody is handed pictures of Quinton, you can see that they are remembering, that they're sad for what has occurred and that he's no longer here, but they're also remembering him. And I sat through that trial yesterday all day. The only time I stopped streaming was was an hour at lunchtime. And the 911 call was played. And the last thing that was shown in court yesterday was that suitcase. And I was telling Allie this last night.
Yeah.
That woman, Sarah Boone, had no reaction at all, you guys. And I would have thought, given her new defense, right, that she was triggered, that she has battered spouse syndrome, and seeing George's hand, and, you know, just triggered a PTSD response, and then she was in fight or flight. When she was listening to that 911 call, which, understand, she opened the suitcase up and found him dead. This is a person she claims that she loved more than anything in the world. Okay. None of those memories came back. There was no reaction at all. It was, like I always say, like, she's one of those people that is the literal embodiment of the nothing, just vacant, nothing. Not somebody trying to not show emotion.
Right.
Literally just not having any to show. It's so
Like
awful.
a psychopath, honestly, or, you know, some
yes. It is the craziest shit for somebody claiming what she's claiming that I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some throwed off stuff, y'all. I've been on YouTube a long time. Just because I haven't always had an account doesn't mean that I wasn't always on, that I haven't been on YouTube a minute and social media. I've seen some things.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand why this babysitter, the mother babysitter, not her girls, why she never called CPS. I know it's hard because for me, in hindsight, we see, you know, of course we see things like that and we're like, what the hell? Or some of the things that we're about to hear, you know, but then again, like, you have to think, like, and I was thinking about this deep, in the shower, like Jen doing my thinking in the shower.
It's
But
the
for
best
real.
place to do all the thinking.
Yeah, because you're not like kind of, I don't know, you're not doing a million other things. You're just showering and thinking. But I was thinking about that, and I was thinking maybe, there probably is a level of fear, or what will happen if you do, and so if anything will even be done. I think there's a lot more that goes into it. In hindsight, we see it and we're like, what the hell, man? Because I feel that way too. I get why you say that, but then again, I think maybe, I don't know, it's unfortunate it didn't happen. It should have, but I think there's probably other reasons why maybe it didn't. What do you think about that, Jen?
Well, I think one of the things, and I'm not making excuses, but we have to try to sort of understand their position. When they're up here testifying, okay, when they're asked questions one after the other. So if they're talking about incidents of where they saw something that wasn't right, we're hearing it one after the other, which forms a picture for us that these things happened frequently, but in reality, I would imagine that the scenario is something more like along the lines of there was something that happened. She told Billy Joe. It seemed to be taken care of for a time. I think that there was. I think that there were some instances where there was a lot of time in between,
Yeah.
and so that is one thing to keep in mind. Calls will be anonymous, okay? However, people are not dumb.
Yeah.
All right. And if your circle of people that have access to your child are very, very small, you can pretty much rule out you can figure out who called. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that might,
agreed.
look, I'm just going to be honest. All right. Because the jury's never going to hear this, but we did hear it. Billy Joe was very upset with this woman, and she did show up at her house, and there was a scene.
Yeah. Yep.
And
there's even pictures of it on their local news. Now,
correct.
at the end, you guys are right. So the defense, they ask her, did you ever call? She says, no, but they called me. I don't know. We'll hear it again in a second, because I only heard it the one time, and I can't remember when that happened, because that would be important to me. If it was after all of this, then I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be hard on her for not calling anyways, because we always see 2020 when we're looking back. Like, hindsight is 2020. That's why they say that, because looking back, you can point out all the mistakes or all the times you could have done better. And I think that at the end of the day, number one, thank God she loved Quinton and her
Yes.
family was there for him. And then now she's testifying to get him justice. So,
and also remember, she is not the one who was the actual babysitter. She worked. I distinctly remember hearing her youngest daughter testifying to my mom being at work. My mom had to go to work. So with CPS, they want it to come from the person who actually saw whatever it is that happened, or what the mark, or whatever it is they're reporting. They want you to be a firsthand witness, which would mean that her children would have. That's who CPS would really like to hear from.
yeah. Yep. You're right. Okay. Let's hear.
Okay.
And how often would the children stay with you?
At first, it was just when they worked. And then it started being overnight. And a lot of times we would even call for Quinton to stay with us, even when they were off.
Okay. Now, who was paying you?
Leilani was paying, but it wasn't like steady. She would pay, and then she would text me later and tell me she needed formula for Sky or diapers, and could she come and get it? And she would pay back when she got paid next time.
Yeah. And how
Look
much
at her
was they
face.
paying you to babysit? Do you remember
She does that
what-
to
what
every-
the agreed upon amount?
She does that to every witness. She looks at them like they're insane. Like, Leilani, like, we haven't seen the videos of you and how you act. Don't act like this is out of your character. Like,
Right. I mean, this is the face that I would make if somebody held their cookies up on the stand and said they saw me eating eggs. We all know how I feel about eggs.
Yes.
Okay. That would be completely out of character. But no, Leilani, Stop it.
Yes. Okay. It's so frustrating the way she does that. It's like, whatever.
And
Leilani.
also think about this. If she had maybe one of the reasons, and I don't know what her reasons were, one of the reasons she didn't call CPS is because technically the children weren't in Leilani's custody. Whose custody were they in? They were in Billy Joe's. And then if she had called, that likely they would have removed those children, and who knows where they would have ended up. And
Yeah.
sometimes, and we do know this true too,
Yes.
the next place they go isn't always better.
Yes. You're so right about that.
And that is a fear that people have.
True.
It is a fear that people have. Will it, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do we call and take the risk that they get removed and the next place they go to is worse? Or do we say nothing but stay involved and keep an eye and be a buffer? And that's why they took him so much.
Yeah. Now look, this is just the truth. Almost every case we talk about, CPS has been involved, whether they've put them in a bad foster home, adopted them into a bad family, a dangerous family, put them back with parents who they shouldn't have been with. Look at Harmony. This one, almost every single one, almost. But I do, I encourage anybody, if you see something that is concerning, call, because
I would too. I agree with you. I'm just talking about why maybe she didn't.
Yes.
And yes, in the end, back on my BS, you're right. Anywhere would be better than a dump. You're right. But I don't think that the people involved in Quinton's life, I just don't think they thought this was going to happen. Nope. I don't know.
I agree. Well, it's just like with Billy Joe. Hey, Holly. I'm sure she never dreamed that this would have happened when she was leaving. And, and again, hindsight is 2020. A lot of people want to say, why did you leave them with her? Which a lot of times she wasn't alone. Dietz has kind of pointed that out a couple times, but still, she probably never imagined that this would happen. And even though she says that quote, remember where she tells the news on the phone, like, I've thought about this a 1,000 times. Now that I think about that, I think she means after he was missing, she thinks did something happen. But all right.
Yeah.
It was whether you were actually getting that or not.
It was like $25 here, $30 there. One time I think she paid $100. It was just different amounts because she would tell me she didn't have it or she had to do this.
So is it fair to say that you and your daughter were being paid a lot less than the normal going rate for childcare?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. You said that Quinton would spend the night sometimes. Would both the boys spend the night or just Quinton?
Zane stayed a handful of times. Quinton stayed a lot.
And why is that? Why would Quinton stay overnight?
Honestly, Quinton loved us. He was close to us. And I just felt like he would be better off at our house because there was a difference in the love she showed between Zane and Quinton. And I felt bad. And I would work and my daughter would say, can we just get him, Mom, because this happened today? And I would say, yeah, call her and ask her if he can stay.
Oh my God.
Can you think of some examples of how the defendant treated the boys differently?
Well, she was working at Bojangles and she had brought food home. And she bet Quinton loved food. And every time he seen a bag, he would want it. He's little. She would feed Zane before she fed Quinton. Every time. And I just thought that was strange.
So do you
We're
mean
gonna
she
talk
gives
about this in
Zane
a second.
food and
I
make
won't
Quinton
pause
wait?
yet.
Yes, ma'am.
She
Absolutely.
wasn't physically feeding Zane at that
No, she would give him the
Just
food
give him food.
and he would eat. And then Quinton would be, whining and wanting it. And she would give it to him eventually.
Did you ever say anything to her about that?
I did not.
Are there any other ways that she treated the boys differently that you noticed?
Just by the way she talked to him, when she would, once in a while that she did come and pick them up, she would, grab Zane and he would hug her because he was close to her. I mean, you could definitely tell it. And then, Quinton 99% of the time wanted to stay with us, and he would start crying. Now, if Danny come and picked him up, it was different.
How did Quinton act if Danny came?
He would go with Danny. He wouldn't cry to stay with us. He loved Danny. He would, Danny would pick him up and he'd hug him.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Did Leilani
I got to pause there. I was trying to hold it and make it as long as we could, but that's interesting to me. So when Leilani would go to pick him up, he would cry and wouldn't want to go with her. But when Danny would, he would run to him. And look, Danny doesn't even live here anymore. I do not see any absolute reason why they would be dishonest about this, why they would have any reason to make it seem like something it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of stunned. I think it's good to know that, but it tells you how Quinton felt and what he could feel coming from his mom.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't understand. I can't really, this whole thing is just messed up to me. And you're right. This is a person, her and her daughter that testified. It's very evident from their testimony that they care about Quinton and they loved him and they looked out for him. They don't have anything to gain by saying, any of this stuff that's negative about Leilani. They don't have anything to gain from this. They truth be told, they don't want to be up there. I wouldn't think,
on TV for everybody to see and
judge. They've already faced a hell of a lot of judges. This woman in particular.
Oh yeah. You're so right about that. But I mean, I wonder if part of them is, I guess they probably, I would think would be like, well, it's for Quinton. So they would, they do it and they have to do it. But,
but they gain nothing from talking badly about Leilani. They don't.
No.
I mean, let's be honest. The text messages alone, nobody really would need to testify to this. We can can see Leilani's behavior, her lies, etc. on, the body cam footage, the interviews with, the police and all the things. We don't really need these people to come up here and confirm for us. They don't gain anything from doing this.
I agree with you. And that was one of my thoughts, because I know people will say, like, you know how people are. There's always going to be the people that are skeptical, and that's okay. I think it's healthy to ask questions, but I'm with you. There's no reason to lie. So this is interesting. Harlot says, Dolly said a neighbor kid on the street told him they were playing in a pool and Leilani came and asked for Quinton, all normal, then turned and whipped his butt as soon as she got her hands on him. We also heard she backhanded him in the mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? So he's not even 2 years old. I'm sorry. It's not right to do that to anyone. I got backhanded once as a teenager by my mom. I'll never forget it. We were in the car and I deserved it. I was sassing her. I was a teenager though, and she was driving and backhanded me in the mouth one time. He was 20 months old when he
I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't. It's very clear that Leilani resented Quinton, which is, there were other people that wanted that little boy.
Yeah.
Why she kept him, I don't know. But.
Me either. All right.
ever talk to you about how she felt about the boys?
Yes, ma'am. She just, one time, and my daughter had more talks with her than I did. I didn't really talk to her that much, but she just said that she loved Quinton more. I mean, Zane more than Quinton. And, I didn't question it. She's a crappy mom. I knew that. But I just.
Damn. That's why I put that in my title. Like, she was a crappy mom. I know that. Okay.
Never said anything to her. I would always call Billy Joe when I seen things that was going on.
Okay. Did she ever, in that conversation, did she explain more about, like, Zane had been through things with her?
Yes, that Zane had been her ride or die his whole life. And she did not like Quinton's father.
That's such an odd
So
thing to say,
other than
put on a
what you
child.
saw in your
Your
own-
ride or die.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be your child's ride or die, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. What's wrong with you? I mean, we know what's wrong with you. That is my question is facetious. I don't actually expect a response. I
Yeah.
know what's wrong with you.
But for real, it's like, because we've heard that again from
Uh-huh.
somebody else that he helped her get through like so many hard times or something. Or no, the police is who said that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Um, it just shows her immature attitude and the way her outlook is just so
She's selfish.
childish and selfish. Yeah.
Did you ever see things outside? Like, did you ever observe the children at her house or outside their house?
On one incident, my daughter was going to our shed. That's where our laundry room is. And she had come running in and saying, Mama, Zane and Quinton is in the ditch. Well, it was the road on Buckhalter, but the ditch is right here. And Quinton was actually in the ditch and Zane was trying to get him out.
Okay. Did you go out and see the kids outside?
I did.
Okay. And at some point, were they returned home or took back to your home?
They was returned. I asked Talia to take them home and find out where Leilani was. I immediately called Billy Joe.
And observing these kinds of things, did you ever report it to any authorities?
It had been reported. It had happened several times even before we started keeping them that I didn't know about, and it had been reported.
Okay. Do you know what authority, if any, it had been reported to?
Defects.
Oh.
Well, there
I
you
missed
go.
that. Yeah.
And you say it had been reported. So were you aware of somebody other than you reporting it? Okay.
Is that a
and
yes?
you can
You have
say
to
yes.
answer yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
There you go.
And I won't ask you what they said since we're in court.
I don't know how I missed that,
Say what you-
but I know it comes up
Mhm.
again from defense.
Okay.
Let's move to the
Remy.
day that Quinton disappeared.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember that morning?
Yes.
All right. Or actually, let's talk about the day before we
Okay.
move to that.
Mhm.
The day before, were you supposed to watch the children that day?
Yes.
And what happened?
They picked up the kids. I did watch them, and Danny come and picked them up, and they were supposed to come back the next day. And around about 5:28, 5:29, I got a text from Danny saying that Leilani was kicking the kids today.
Okay. Now, had that happened before where she would not go to work and the children would stay at home?
No, because even if she didn't go to work, most of the time she sent them to us because she wanted to sleep.
Okay. And how do you know
Selfish.
that?
Because and she would stay at home because one day I had them and me and my daughters were taking them somewhere. And when we rode by, when we got in the car, she was on her front porch. It's like a little porch. And when she seen us, she actually ducked down and hid from us because she was supposed to be at work. But it didn't matter. We loved them, so I would have kept them anyway.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Quinton was like? Like, what did Quinton like? I know he was very young. He wasn't even 2 years old yet, but were there things that he said or things that he liked that you know about?
Yes. He loved cheese. Every time I would get home from work, he would want mac and cheese, and he would go to the refrigerator and he would get my cheese out, my block of cheese for me to cut it for him. And if I would have let him, he'd ate the whole thing. He loved Blimpie. He loved Bubbles. Anytime we could go to the store and get him Bubbles, he just loved them. He was a very happy baby when he was with us.
And you said that he would spend the night. When he would spend the night, where would he sleep?
Usually we would all make a pallet in the floor and we would let him watch Blimpie until he fell asleep.
Okay. And what is Blimpie?
It's a cartoon.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
For those that don't have little kids that don't know what Blimpie is, so it's a cartoon.
Yes.
The children, when they came to your home, were they sent with clothes, food, diapers, things that they would have needed?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So how was that handled?
Well, Zane always come dressed. Several times we got Quinton and he would be in a long onesie and he would have poop from all over. I don't want to say a baby didn't smell good, but he smelled like rotten milk. He had rings around his neck. We'd immediately bathe him and put him fresh clothes on.
Jen, that infuriates me. That just, oh my
Yeah,
God.
that goes all over me. You listen, okay? Your children didn't ask to be here. Now, if you want to live in filth and be filthy and don't bathe, that's on you. But children get a bath every single night. My kids got bathed every single night. Even after I had back surgery, when I had my discectomy and laminectomy, thankfully the older 3 were old enough to take a shower. But Minnie Bindi was only 2. She still got a fucking bath by me every night.
Yeah. That's what we do as moms. It's just like the sleep thing. Like, I don't know I can't remember the last time I slept through a whole night. And you know what? Like the other night, Bentley woke up. I woke up and he was standing in the kitchen at the trash can sick. And then several more times he woke up like in the middle of throwing up. And guess what? I get my ass up. I clean it up. I clean him up. I make sure. I can't understand.
I can't either. I can't either. I cannot either. I don't understand it. My kids are older, but you don't really, after your kids are older, after your kids are even not in your house anymore, once you're that way, you don't really change. I haven't been right since 1995. Okay. That's when my oldest was born. I ain't slept right. Everything's been just, because the priority for me was them, not me.
Exactly. And Crumb Crochet says you just get up and you do it for your kids. How do you not? Like, really, how do you not? It's really hard to understand that.
I've never understood that. I've never understood not bathing. I get that is the one time. Obviously there are other situations that would cause me to step in and say something, obvious signs of abuse. Okay. But the one thing that's like to me, neglect is abuse, but your children not being bathed, not being clean, not having clean clothes, I will step in and I will say something. I don't give a rat's fat kneecap who you are, I don't care. I'll say something.
And
it's wrong.
The dirty diaper, like that just,
yes,
that is so painful for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It causes like really horrible, it makes them horribly uncomfortable. Think about the rashes, and when they get really bad, it burns
Yeah.
It's just messed up, man. I don't know. I guess it's part of addiction. You know what I mean? That is part of it. Like when you're spinning out, fucking snorting coke and drinking all the time and smoking weed and screwing your drug dealer and all that. That is one of the reasons. I just don't think if you're doing drugs like that, you need to have little kids. No exceptions. I think you can still love your kids. I think people can function, but yeah, you
shouldn't be around them. No, you shouldn't be. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Did you keep clothes for him at your house?
I did, because I had to tell Billy Joe that she wasn't sending anything for the kids.
Okay. And did Billy Joe give you money to get clothes?
Yes. We went and got clothes. I took pictures of the clothes and the receipt and sent them to her.
Okay. And so then after that, you just kept clothes at your house?
Yes. I kept half of the clothes there.
Okay. All right. Now that we've covered that, now let's go to the day that Quinton disappeared. So that day, what is the first time you became aware something was out of the ordinary? You said, so that morning, Danny had texted you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, can you pause it really quick? Because I just thought of something.
Did you have?
Yeah.
Okay. So back when all of this was happening, when Quinton first went missing, and it was all over social media, all over YouTube, I remember so many people being so angry at this woman because the overall the sentiment was that Leilani was not supposed to have the children at all, ever alone.
Yeah.
And so why didn't the babysitter, that should have been a red flag immediately, and the babysitter should have intervened. I remember, do you remember that, Allie?
I remember, wait, what, the people that were so mad at the
babysitter, yes, and
yes.
saying why that Leilani was not allowed to be
yes, like they wanted her to steal it, like
correct.
Yeah.
That she should have went over there, not just knocked on the door, knocked the door down and went in and got the children.
Yep.
But that's wasn't, if
you can't do that.
Listening to her, that was not the deal.
It reminds me of Uncle Kevin, Jen, with Harmony. People wanted him to do that. Hey, Amber.
But that was not the arrangement.
No. Hell, she can't do that. You can't do that. You can't
no, but what I'm saying is if what I'm trying to point out here is there was no court order or anything saying that Leilani could not be unsupervised with the children. That's why there was that that's why Billy Joe had custody of them, because all of that was handled not through CPS. They were aware, but there was no
she willingly gave it over. Yeah, I don't know, honestly, the truth of that, because I have heard Dietz mention something about she wasn't supposed to be alone with her. Some of the paperwork and stuff is out there from the court stuff, but I don't know it like off the top of my head. But I wonder if that's even in there for sure in black and white, because there's so many rumors. How do you know without seeing it? You can't.
Right. But what my point is okay, if there was something saying that she should not have been alone with them, like there was an order, a court order, she was not legally allowed to be with them. If the babysitter then would have went over there and intervened, then she would, she should have done is call law enforcement and gone over there and intervened. Right. That's what makes me wonder if there even was such an order at that time, not in the past, but currently, because I feel like this woman, if that were the case, and Leilani was not supposed to be home alone with those children, even though technically Paul was there, and I think Billy Joe's husband was there too, or no? Where was he? Because they bring him up and he's there, but he's not there. They don't really talk about him that night. So I'm kind of confused about that. But this woman took a rash of shit for something that she had no control over, was my point.
Yeah, she had. Oh, I completely agree with you. Let me say something really quick, though. Thank you so much, Little Bit, for the thing that I wanted to say. I took off the freaking screen, for gifting and for joining. I appreciate that so much, Little Bit. Thank you. B. Crumbs had made a comment that said something like, there are people who do this to their kids without drugs involved, and that's the root of the issue. And I understand that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying in this particular situation, the drugs don't help. And I know a lot of people who have had kids and been on drugs and been shitty parents and then got off of them and been really great parents. My point was just that if you are doing those kinds of drugs, you're not going to make the choices that you need to make for small children. That's just my point. I know that it happens, with them, without, and all of that,
but instead of focusing their anger on the person who hurt and took Quinton's life, some of these people have literally blamed everybody around Leilani but Leilani.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. It was awful at the time. It's just crazy. Now that we see, it's just another reason that people need to stop. When these are like, even with Sebastian, we don't know. Like, that's one that's really very big right now, a big topic of conversation. We don't know what police might have or don't have as far as phone records, just all kinds of stuff like that. We don't know. there's probably a good reason why they say, hey, everyone's cooperating. We need to listen to law enforcement. Stop taking this shit into our own hands and just making shit up and believing it as if it's the truth and spreading it around.
Right.
Because it's not.
It would be nice if some of the creators that I wish they would be listening to the trial now. See, because then they would know, oh, okay, well, I got, it would be a lesson. I'm not trying to shame anybody. People make mistakes, and I'm all about, second chances, right? But first you got to acknowledge that you even made the mistake, and then you got to change, right? People make I've made mistakes covering true crime. Allie's made mistakes, and we all have. None of us are perfect. So, but you are the idea is that you would learn from those mistakes. You say, oh shit, I looked at it this way because the police weren't saying anything. And I thought all this was, and they really weren't doing anything. And they were just dragging their feet and not arresting Leilani. But you can see through the law enforcement testimony exactly what they were doing. I don't know. It's just irritating to me. I'm kind of crabby, so maybe I should just.
No, Jen, you're speaking the truth. I mean, honestly, it's not even that. It's not outrageous at all what you're saying. It's the truth. People need to take a step back, stop spreading rumors, stop just believing whatever, and understand that we don't have the full picture until we see it. This is what it's all about. When there is a crime that takes place and someone is arrested, the trial is where you get the facts. If you're gonna only cover the case when there's rumors and it's open, but then when you actually get the facts, you don't even try to put those out or correct it. It is
right.
frustrating.
It's like, do you actually want to know what happened?
Yeah.
Or do you just want to sit around and tell stories about what you think happened?
And, yep.
That's where I'm at with it. I don't understand it. I guess it makes no sense to me. I don't understand how you can be invested in something up until a certain point, right? And then just be like, okay, whatevs. If I'm that invested, like when I am invested, I'm like Allie will tell you, I'm either all in or I'm all out. There's no real in between with me. I'm not one of those people. So when I'm interested in something, I'm interested in it for the long haul. I want to find out what happened,
Yep, me too. And I want the facts. Like, I don't want
Exactly.
bullshit. I want the truth. Okay.
It's annoying. All right, I'll be right back. I'm listening now, okay? I'll just be right back.
Okay.
At that point, did you have any more conversation with anybody about that?
No.
Okay. Then what's the next thing you heard from anybody in that family?
Me and my youngest daughter was on the way to McDonald's. Danny calls and asked me, did I get Quinton or have I seen him? And I said, no, why? And he said that Leilani said he was missing. So my kids homeschool. I ran to McDonald's. We come back. I dropped my youngest daughter off, and me and my oldest daughter headed down to Leilani's house.
Okay. Do you remember about what time of the morning this was?
Maybe around 9.
Okay. And so you dropped off food at your house. And how close is your house to theirs?
Caddy corner across the street.
Okay. So y'all are neighbors. You're real close by.
Yes.
So you dropped food off, and then you went over to their house.
Yes.
And what do you drive?
Armada.
And what color is it?
White.
Okay. And when you got there, did you park in the driveway?
I did.
Okay. I'm asking because we've seen some scene photos with a vehicle,
Yes.
and that Armada that's white is your vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you got there, were there any police there yet?
No, ma'am.
All right. What did you do when you got there?
I asked Leilani if I could go in and help her look because Quinton liked to hide. He would hide from us under the bed. Like, he just liked to play like hide and seek.
Now, I just want to say, police did say at one point during this trial, one of the officers that testified, a lot of times when a child this age goes missing, they will find them hiding somewhere, either in the house, near the house. That's oftentimes, what they're expecting. Kids go missing all the time. That's the thing too, with one specific case being talked about nonstop. Kids go missing every day, tons of them. And I don't know. All right, let me keep playing.
She told me no. Me and my daughter both know. I asked, was the police called? They said no. Danny said no. And I said, why haven't you called the police? And I told her, I said, call the police. And then she did call the police.
When you got there, was Paul outside?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so Paul, did you later see Paul?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but when you got there, it's just Danny and Leilani.
Yes, ma'am.
And where were they?
Under the little carport, they have a little covered carport. There was, like when you pull in their driveway in the back, it's like a little carport
Okay,
before you go in to get to the pool and the little play area.
okay. So are you talking about where cars are parked or like the porch thing behind the house?
When you pull where the cars are parked, but they was kind of standing out from underneath the carport.
Okay, sort of in the driveway.
Yes.
Okay, so they're standing in the driveway, and what were they doing?
She was standing there smoking cigarette one after another. She was like screaming.
Okay. At some point, did the police get called?
Yes.
Okay, was that immediately after you suggested it or later?
I would say a couple minutes. I heard her get on the phone and call the police.
Okay. And did the police show up quickly?
Yes.
All right. After the police arrived, what did you do or where did you go?
Paul had come down at that time and he was letting Zane ride this little car thing. Well, he ended up doing it too fast. Zane fell and slid across the concrete. And I had asked one of the policemen if I could take Zane to my house until all this was kind of, situated. And they told me, yes, I could.
Okay. So did you take Zane and go home?
I did.
Okay. And at some point, were you interviewed by law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
When did that
Um, well, I have cameras, so a gentleman come that worked and he checked my camera system and asked me questions. And then I was also pulled into the police station by a detective.
Okay, so go do like a formal interview?
Yes.
Okay. During the time that you were keeping the kids, did Leilani ever bring them to you to go somewhere other than work?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Okay, so now I want to. I'm
a
going
couple
to drop this link in the chat so you guys can watch it, but I want to switch gears for just a second to part of the interview by her daughter. Oh my gosh, what is going on with my computer? I'm sorry, you guys. 1 second. Okay. Switch gears over here for a second, and I'm just going to play this for about 2 minutes, and then we'll talk.
All right. And is that something that you would do from time to time? Come and get them and just take them?
Every day.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was he like your buddy?
Sir.
Was he like your buddy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you come up, you said Quinton's inside and Leilani is out back by the pool, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're there to get Quinton.
Yes, sir.
And at some point she pushed him.
Yes, sir.
At what point did he go from being inside to outside?
He had walked up because the door, you could see through it. So he had walked up and put his hands and his mouth against the door, and he was happy. And she opened the door. She put the door handle and she pushed it open, and she was continuing telling me the story. And Quinton started saying bubbles. He wanted bubbles. And she pushed him, took her hand and pushed the middle of his chest and pushed him.
And what was the bubbles thing about? You said he wanted bubbles?
He loved bubbles.
Okay. Are you talking about like soap bubbles that you blow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When she pushed him, what did she use to push him with first?
Her hand.
And where did she put her hand on his body?
Right here. In the middle.
And at that point, her hand's on his chest, and what does she do?
She pushes him.
And what happened to him when she pushed him?
He falls on his butt.
And what did he do?
He looked at me and held his arms out and started crying. And I told Leilani that That upsetted me.
And what did you do it? You okay?
Look at Leilani. Look at her. How dare she? Oh my God, you guys.
She's such a smug bitch, isn't she?
Yes, she is. I got. Hold on.
I'm good. I'm sorry.
When he fell, what part of his body hit? Did he fall on the ground, I guess?
Yes, sir. His tush hit the floor.
Okay. And you said he started crying and reached out his arms to you.
Yes, sir.
Did you pick him up?
Yes, sir.
He reached out to her, not his mom. Hell, his mom's the one doing it to him. But it makes me thankful that he had her to even reach out to. But it's like, I just imagine if she was treating him like this in front of these people. Imagine how she treated him when they were alone.
I know. It breaks my heart because I mean, I'm speaking as, I raised 4 children. I mean, my kids, if they wanted something or needed something, it didn't even matter what it was. When they were upset, they cried for me every time. They wanted me. I can't imagine. I just don't understand. I don't understand this. I don't understand this.
I don't either. I do not either. All right, there's one more clip I want to show, but before that, this is when the daughter was testifying. This is when Leilani calls her a effing liar.
Okay.
See, it's just like a 2-second clip, but that's her somebody got it on Twitter. But just back to that babysitter for a second, and then we'll just chat for a minute. I just want to hear this one other part of this testimony about this pool. And this right here, it went all through me. I think this is part of the reason for like my little emotional spiral in the last couple of days. And I know you guys are feeling it too. Like it's important to listen to. And I do agree that we owe it to Quinton. I mean, if it's hard for us, imagine how it was for him. So at the end of the day, we need to suck it up. But it is so hard to absorb this information. And just you guys make sure you take breaks from it, because I got to do the same. It truly did send me. I believe that's what started like my little emotional couple days.
It's hard. This is hard to listen to because typically you don't get this kind of testimony,
Yeah.
Like let's think back to like Adam Montgomery's trial. All right. There weren't a whole lot of people that got up there and testified to witnessing Adam actually abusing Harmony.
Yeah.
Even the uncle didn't actually witness the incident. He saw the black eye.
Yeah. And he was told about it by Adam.
Right.
But
But Leilani is doing this in front of people. Like this is something that I'm shocked, and I that's why when we do have an opportunity to hear from witnesses who showed Quinton love and affection, it's a tiny bright spot, because the worst what happened to him was unimaginable. I can't imagine the terror he went through and the confusion.
oh my God, it's so sad to think about. And then like, he was aware that that's his mom. Like I just
Right.
2
is when they start to really remember. That is when the first 2 years of a child's life they're all important, but forming who they become later on in life, it starts in the first 2 years. That's when they learn love, they learn empathy, all those little synapses they make their brain is developing so rapidly. And that's why they talk about children being little sponges. But in those first 2 years of life, those are really, really important in shaping the way that a child will be in the future.
Yeah. You're so right. All right, so this one little part, other part, I want to play.
And did you say anything to Leilani?
I told her that that wasn't necessary because it happened last night,
Oh,
but she should have talked to
Red,
him first.
thank you.
And what happened from
Sweet,
there?
thank you.
I took him, I walked him home.
Thank you, Lil Red. That is really sweet, and I appreciate it. You guys are all too good to me. I really, yeah, thank you so much. You definitely don't have to do that, and I appreciate it. Okay, sorry. I just didn't want to wait.
With me. I don't know what she did after.
So you talked about that one push. Was there anything else that you remember that was like that?
The pool incident.
What's the pool incident?
It was me and my sister, and I believe 2 of my nephews with me over at her pool swimming. And Zane had got in the pool, and Quinton wanted in there. And I was fixing to go grab Quinton to put him in there. But instead of her listening to me tell her, hold on, let me get his floaty on, she just full on pushed him in the pool.
Push him with what?
Her hand,
And where on his body did she make contact with him?
the back,
Like middle of the back, upper back, lower back?
the middle. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And she just pushed him into the pool?
Keep
Yes,
it
sir.
together, Leilani.
And he didn't have any floaties on, it sounds like?
No, sir.
Was he able to swim at this point?
No, sir.
What happened once he was pushed into the pool?
He went underwater. And when he came back out, he caught his breath, trying to catch his breath, and then he started crying.
Was he coughing or anything?
Yes, sir.
And
I mean, oh my God. Oh my God. This is like your worst fear as a mom for your kid that can't swim to be knocked in the pool. And look, even this, like, even if he was pulled right out, there are kids, there's a thing called dry drowning. If you inhale water later on, you can drown. I just cannot believe that. I'm shocked. I'm almost speechless, but I am so disgusted and infuriated. All I can think about is his sweet little face, like crying and trying to catch his breath and coughing and choking on the water. Like,
Right.
what the hell? And then Leilani has the nerve, Jen. How do you sit there? No, look here. Keep it together, bitch, because it doesn't matter. Even if you felt these were lies, this is a child on the stand. You need to keep your shit together. And then in your defense, you ask relevant questions or whatever. You don't sit there, call her a liar, shake your head, all the body movements, all that make you look bad. It's stupid.
Right.
It's not going to help you.
Especially dum-dum, the fact that you're mean mugging this kid, right? But you let her take care of your child.
Yep.
So which is it, Leilani? You
Yep.
know?
You're so right. Hey, Jensen. Oh my God. I don't know, Jen.
This is why Quinton didn't go to her for anything, because he was learning that he wasn't going to get comfort. He wasn't safe with her. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but the pushing him in the pool like that and the other things that she did, making Quinton, and it's not the other children's fault. It's Leilani's. But can you imagine how that would be for Quinton to have to sit there and wait until Leilani, watch his brother eat, but then but then he had to wait.
No. Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. Like, what do you think about that? Because,
It's
Zane.
sadistic and cruel.
Okay, yeah, because it's like, why? I mean, Zane's feeding himself. All you have to do is hand a piece to one, hand a piece to the other. Okay, one's older and it's a little easier for him. So feed him first if you want to, but then you immediately feed the other one. I don't understand. Like, it's like just trying to pick at him or hurt him, like just being resentful that he even exists and you have to feed him.
Yeah, I mean, look, my boys are 10 months apart. So there was a point in time when they were both, and my oldest son is a preemie. So he had to stay on formula and be on baby food just a little extra longer. Right. Well, it was just me. My husband worked. So I had both of those boys sitting in their high chairs, and I sat on the coffee table and I fed them both at the same time.
Yes.
Parents who have twins do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what you do.
you figure it out. I mean, oh, I don't know. I now have my niece here. So I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, almost 8 and 9. And look here, every single thing that I do, I try to be so careful and make sure that it's 100% fair. And that not one, it's so important with little kids to keep it fair, to do the same for both, to not like do for one and not the other. That is so important. And I can't understand, like, that's my niece, not my own child. Not that I don't love her, but I'm just saying, you would think for your own children, you would, I don't know, it just,
Yeah, to
unbelievable.
go out of your way intentionally to be cruel to any child is disgusting.
Yeah.
But to do it to your own child is worse. I
Yes.
don't understand people like this. I just don't.
And when you
Nobody
have,
forced her to keep the children. You didn't have if you didn't, if you weren't ready, whatever, nobody would have judged you for giving your children up for adoption,
no. And when you have two that are so close in age, like I had never experienced that before. I know you definitely know all about that. I
Mhm.
hadn't, but it's so important to be very fair. They notice that stuff. It's they
Oh, they keep score. They
yes,
absolutely keep score.
yes.
Mhm.
For real. Okay, so I don't know if you saw this, Jen, but I played this at the beginning. I wanted to play it for you guys again. This
Okay.
is on Quinton's memorial page, and it's him. Somebody's playing with him as a baby, and I just want to play it because it's so precious, and this is just what it's all about. And I just, I think so many times that we talk about this stuff, I see other channels. It almost is like these people are talked about and treated as if they're not real humans, not necessarily
Mhm.
always the victims, but sometimes in their families. And I like to humanize them. I want to, these are real people,
It's
this is
important to remember Quinton was before he was murdered and became Leilani Simon's victim. He was just a happy little boy. He was just a little boy,
yes,
and
yeah,
that's the part there. Yeah, it's important to remember that.
yeah. Oh, okay. Listen to this. It's his
Okay.
laugh. Oh my God.
Come on, Dave, be careful.
Oh my God.
Come on, Dave, be careful.
Oh my God.
God love him.
I know. And oh my God, just so innocent and full of love and light and happiness. Like I'm telling you, and I know you're going to agree with me, but as a mom or even as a human, like the love and joy that little kids can bring to your life,
Mhm.
the way that no matter what's going on, like they can always, I don't know, just show you that the sun's going to always be shining again after every storm. You know what I mean? They show you
Yes,
that there's always another day, and the love, I don't know, it's
there
something
is
I'm so
nothing like
thankful
that
for.
laugh.
Yes.
That baby laugh that they do is so. I mean, in the moment when you're doing it, it feels like an eternity, right? But I'm telling you, from being on the other side of that, it goes so quickly. I mean, I can remember all of my children at one time or another, that deep from their soul little belly laugh that they
Oh
do.
my
And
God.
they just do it for such a short time.
Yeah, I
I
love that.
don't.
I don't know either, Jen. And it's like the love that these little kids can bring to your life, in it, whether they're your children, someone else's children, just getting the opportunity to have like small babies and kids around you. It's just so invaluable. There is nothing better, and there is nothing to truly show you what's important and what life is all about. And I just can't
Yeah.
imagine like having that and being like pissed about it.
Right. I mean, listen, taking care of kids that are 10, I mean, I can't imagine how I would have done it if their boys were twins, but 10 months apart, they were a lot of work, like
Yeah.
it was a lot of work, but it was also it was also a lot of fun too. I mean, I remember when they learned to share, when they're babies and they're in their high chair and they want to hand you the food, Do you know how many
Yeah,
soggy
yes.
ass, half-eaten, cheese puffs I've eaten, Cheetos that I've eaten? You know what I mean? Just because you want to encourage that, you want to. That is something that they learn. That's those foundational building blocks that are so important in raising happy, healthy, productive members of society. Is they learned that you fed them, right? And then they learned to do it back to you, because that's how you show you care. That's how they interpret you feeding them, is that you care. So they do it back to you. That's their way of showing you. And yes, it is a soggy Cheerio pinched in between the chubby little fingers of a baby, but you take it and you eat it and you just let it,
Yes, I know
because
exactly what you're talking about, and
you
it's so,
want to reward that. You want to reward that behavior,
even though it's disgusting,
It's
and you don't.
awful. It's awful. Do you know how many times I would go get a drink when my kids were younger? I mean, they weren't, baby babies, but I either had water or sweet tea. And how many, do you know how many times that I would go to get a drink out of my cup and there'd be floaties in it? I mean,
Yes,
because you
yes,
share, it just is what it is.
yep,
Or, I mean, I don't think that for a long time, I didn't, even when they got older, because then I had Elizabeth. So I don't think I ate a hot meal for like 3 years. I'm lukewarm,
yeah,
but, you know, but
yes,
but now, like the Minnie Bendy sent me some pictures of some food that she's cooked, and she's gotten quite good at cooking. Never cooked a day when she was here. I mean, like, and I mean, like actually cooking, not like throw together stuff, like actually cooking, but but she obviously was paying attention because she is doing it,
yeah,
and it's just, or, the other night, my youngest son, he's here and he made dinner, and he did a good job, and I was just like, it's just,
yeah. Well, you're proud. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just the pride and the love and it's
yeah.
irreplaceable, and I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know. It's infuriating. It seems like she had that for the other kids. And this is something else I wanted to ask you about. So who was it that said that, was it the friend that she was mad that Quinton didn't look like her? Or that Quinton looked like his dad. Like, I birthed them and he
Oh,
looked.
it was the babysitter, the
Oh,
younger
okay, yes.
babysitter.
Like, what? He
Right.
looks just like her. And
He
he's,
looks just like her. And look, this is how resilient children are. We know what his home life was like with her, but look at him. Look at his
look,
face.
look at that. That's one of the prettiest little, sweetest little babies I've ever
That's
seen
why
in
it
my
makes me
life.
so angry, because even he's, at the end of the day, that child, all he was still such a little happy guy, such a happy little guy, even though, and he does look exactly like her. I don't know what his dad looked like. I never looked that much into it because it doesn't really matter to me. But
I remember seeing him. So remember when both of his parents passed away right after?
yes,
I remember seeing like a couple articles and pictures of him, but like I don't remember what he looks like, but I don't remember thinking he looks so much like him. To me, he looks so much like Leilani. I mean,
to me, he looks like Leilani.
yeah. Look at this picture right here. I love that one too. Like,
This is my favorite. Do what? I do what? He just looks,
yeah.
I mean, he's just,
Yes, he's just so
he's a beautiful child, just an
yeah.
absolutely beautiful child. And yet here we are. The
Yep.
fact that it just breaks my heart that in this day and age, we're still having these trials, really. Like, this is one societal ill I wish that we could cure.
Yeah. Me too. And I don't know that we ever will, honestly. And that's
I know, it breaks my heart. This absolutely just breaks my heart. This is why I did take a break. And I know that's really, like, it's kind of selfish of me, because I'm the one up here saying, well, we should listen to, we have to know what quick. And I will listen. I have listened to it. Me listening and streaming are two different things. You know what I mean?
yeah.
When you're the one running the stream, you have like an obligation, I feel, to protect your audience in a way, so you can't be too, you
Yes.
got to do all the things. And that's what it was hard for me. I'm still watching the trial. I'm still paying attention. I'm still listening. It's just streaming is different.
Yeah, it is. You got to really, I don't know, it's totally different. You got to be there every second, really paying attention to what's going on, watching your chats, and digesting the information to be able
Right.
to discuss it later.
Right.
Oh
So
gosh,
what?
I had another question or something I was going to say, and I lost it. Let me think.
Oh, sorry. I probably
Who you-
distracted you.
No, you didn't. I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, mystery, look, there you are. So who do you think is going to be next?
I got to say, I think we're getting close to the medical examiner now. The only other person that I could think that might be next would be Billy Joe.
I really want to see. I want to hear from her. I want to see her. She's not been there. I guess she said in Jones, and she wasn't planning. She didn't know if she would go. That surprised me because I know that Claus had seen her previously, hey, T. Marie, at some of the hearings, and she had negative feelings towards her. This is nothing she hasn't shared. So, like, of course, from watching all this stuff, and just, she said after she saw her in person, like, that all went away, and she could just, she was devastated, heartbroken, grieving, just the way you would expect her to be.
Mhm.
And so I don't look forward to that. And I hope that, I know people are angry with her, and I can understand that, but I hope that people will be kind, just because, man, I feel for her so much. She is the one who alerted all of us, that told us all that Leilani was a liar, and that
Right.
she might not be telling the truth.
And
So
she also said that if it turned out that Leilani did this, that she would drive her to the police station herself, and she did.
yep, she sure did. You're right. So, I mean, you gotta, I don't know. And I don't want to be too, I know that she's grieving, and I can't imagine what a loss. What if here I am complaining about a loss that, I can't even talk about it. I can hardly even fucking say it.
Right. Loss is loss, Allie. You don't have to compare, babe.
But still,
Loss
I
is
mean, a
loss.
little sweet baby like that with his whole life ahead of him, like, I just think it's just
It's
such
just a
huge
different
loss.
kind of loss.
Yeah.
Because it's the loss, it's the actual loss of the human being, right? But it's also the loss of the potential of him, what all of his firsts, and then what he was going to bring to the world. Children, that's the thing about children, is they're full of potential. The sky's the limit. They can actually literally be anything, and I mean, just think about, like, the people that have made such huge differences in the world, right? They were babies at one time. They weren't, Einstein
Yeah.
wasn't born, coming up with the theory of relativity and all that. That's, Madame Curie, didn't discover nuclear energy. She wasn't, she was a baby first. All these people that have done great things, they were all babies first. And
Yeah.
think
Well,
where we'd be if what breaks my heart is, it makes me always sit and think, all these children that have been murdered, what may be part of the reason, what may be the reason some of the societal ills that still exist in this world still exist, are because those children were removed. One of those children might have been the answer to,
yes, to solving some of those issues. You're so right
exactly.
about that. And no, I'm not comparing the loss out. I'm just saying, like, I cannot imagine, like, I think the loss of any child, and it just would be so huge. And I don't know. It's just hard. I'm emotional at this point. Like, I always get like this with trials. It's like I get into it at first, and I still want all the information, and I need the details. But after, like, watching a few days, it just starts to, like, wear you down emotionally, and you think, I don't know. It's just part of it. I just got to
Yeah.
deal with it.
But you need
guys
to
are
go
right.
through it, though. You need to go
Yeah.
through it. And don't feel bad that you're upset. Don't feel bad that you're sad. Your loss was tremendous to you, and you shouldn't feel like, oh, well, somebody else's loss is bigger. No, loss is loss. And you go through it, babe. We're here for you. I'm here for you for sure.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
I can't speak to these heathens in the chat, but I will be here for you. No, I'm just kidding. I know you guys are for Allie.
No,
We
thank
just
you.
needed a levity. I needed to get her to laugh. So
Yes, and thank you for that. And thank all you guys. I appreciate it. Grandma hugs, Grandma Sherry said. Okay, before we go, I wanted to play this. I actually haven't seen this
Okay.
part.
okay.
So this is, remember I played like her saying fucking liar about the babysitter.
Mhm.
Well, this is a clip of when it was addressed. So when this happened, I was late and you guys had said that it was addressed, but I never went back and saw it. So let's listen to what they said about
Okay.
like what the prosecutor had to say about it.
Or anything
Okay.
that we need to take up before bringing in the jury?
There is one.
Okay. Can you hear me? I was
Yes,
trying to.
now we can. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. And
Do,
then-
do you want me to share my screen, babe, or did you push pause?
No,
'Cause
it's
we
okay.
didn't
I
hear
was
it.
trying to fix I know I was trying to turn the
Okay.
volume booster on, but I
Oh,
don't know
oh,
if
oh.
it worked, but it's pretty
Well,
quiet.
I can hear it. We could hear it just fine, babe.
Okay, good. The love Allie. I
I
love
know that you guys love her, but I had to get her to laugh, and that's the only way I could think to do it. Okay. She,
No,
really,
and
I'm sitting here calling y'all heathens as if I'm not one too.
well, no, you guys mean so much to me, for real. I just want you to know that. Even just having these these conversations, and you guys, Jen, you being here, you guys in the chat, Grandma Sherry, like all you guys are so sweet, and it means a lot to me. I just want you to know that. It really does. Okay.
Or anything that we need to take up before bringing in the jury?
There is one minor issue, Your Honor.
Yeah, Leilani's a big hit.
After
Oh.
we recessed yesterday, I was advised by somebody, I forget whom, that the defendant could be observed mouthing some words during the testimony of our last witness yesterday, Talia McCarta. I went back and looked at the court TV footage from that testimony, and it did appear to me that at some point during that testimony, while Talia was relating one of
Look
the
at Leilani.
vignettes that she shared with the court, that the defendant did mouth quite noticeably, that's a fucking lie, or you're a fucking liar, or something to that effect. And she's furrowing her brow and acting like she didn't do that. But it's caught on video, and she did.
Oh my God.
You can go back and see it. She's still doing that. Doesn't make it not true. She has an absolute right to testify under oath from the witness stand. I don't know.
Oh my God. I have to pause that. I'm going to rewind it and play that part again and she's furrowing her brow and looking like that, but doesn't make it not true. Damn. I love this part. Okay. I'm here.
Mr. Dean, you're a treasure.
Yes. For real. Look at her.
Call her out for mean mugging and furrowing her brow. Call her out for banging her drug dealer. Good on you, Mr. Dean. We love it.
Oh my gosh, it's funny. What do you think she's thinking in the moment, though?
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
So I just think she's like, I don't know. I can't believe the way that she denies shit that's on camera. Like,
Yes.
you idiot.
But what gets me is the absolute opposite reactions of her attorneys. Now, Mr. Bowtie over here, he's listening intently, but not as emotionally invested, right? He's not fixing to take up for her ass. He's there to do his job as an attorney, and that's that. He's much more intent on playing with his pen over here. Mr. Sassy Pants, as Dietz calls him, is fully invested. He's perked up. He's got his, and he's furrowing his eyebrow as well.
Oh, that's so funny. Mr. Sassy Britches. Oh, Roro, thank you. You guys are sweet. Okay, let's hear that just one more time and let it play for a second. Damn.
That the defendant did mouth quite noticeably, that's a fucking lie, or you're a fucking liar, or something to that effect. She's furrowing her brow and acting like she didn't do that, but it's caught on video that she did. The court can go back and see it.
Wow.
She's still doing that. Doesn't make it not true. She has an absolute right to testify.
Look at her.
From the witness stand. I don't know whether she'll exercise it or not. That's up to her. But
On
what she does
video.
not have a right to do is make unsworn statements from counsel table that the jury might be able to observe. So I would ask the court to admonish her not to do that. I don't know how much control this particular defendant has over her facial expressions and mannerisms and things like that. But it seems like keeping your mouth shut is something she will be able to accomplish.
Oh my God.
Damn, you better get some ice for that burn.
Dude, it reminds me of that meme I always reference, like of
Yes.
everyone in the corner that's like,
Yes, it's
oh,
from that 70s shows where they're sitting around. Yeah, the circle.
yes,
Circle time. Yeah.
yes.
And Kelso's all burn. Yeah. It's a
Ooh.
good one.
Oh my God. Okay, let's see what she's looking at. Sassy britches. Like, okay, what are we
Save
doing?
me,
She was
sassy
leaning
pants.
over and she was whispering to me or Mr. Purse at the time. Okay, so while I understand Mr. Dean's concern and I understand Mr. Dean doesn't like it, she has the absolute right to communicate to us her thoughts.
But she
and her
wasn't
opinions.
communicating to you. Sit your ass down. That's a lie. We all saw it. She
And
was
so-
looking dead at the witness when she said, that's a fucking lie. She wasn't looking at you, Mr.
Yep.
Sassy Pants, nor was she looking at Mr. Bowtie over there, who I actually kind of like. But don't play with us, okay?
Yeah. And okay, so is that like if they don't testify and they don't swear, like do a sworn statement, then they're not supposed to say anything, right?
Correct. If you're going to exercise your right to remain silent, that you must remain silent. Now, you are allowed to speak to counsel. That is true. But that is not what was going on here. And she has been speaking to counsel. And he's not. And Mr. Dean hasn't said anything. And that is because she's not speaking to counsel in this moment. He knows it. She knows it. Counsel, both of the defense attorneys know it. Everybody who was watching court TV knows it. Everybody who was watching Law and Crime knows it. Everybody who was watching Deets on the Streets stream knows it. Everybody everywhere that watched this trial yesterday saw the exact same thing. Shut up,
Oh
sassy britches.
yes.
It's fine to be sassy, but don't fucking add lying liar face to your LinkedIn, bro.
It's fine. Don't add lying liar face in. All right, I'm gonna play like the last bit, and then that's all I got, anyways. But I want to see how this kind of wrapped up.
Okay, so the fact that there's a camera here is not something I have any control over, nor does Miss Simon, and nor does Mr. Dean. Okay, so I'm not really sure what,
Bro.
and just for the record, okay, I always tell my clients to scribble it down, write it, pass it to me, rather than have something like this, because the state likes to make these great big things into something. Basically, it's a molehill that they're trying to turn into a mountain, and it's not really relevant. But she has the absolute right to communicate with me and Mr. Purse. And the fact that the camera
But
picks
she was
it up,
like intimidating.
irrelevant. The fact he didn't like what she said, completely irrelevant. The fact he's trying to tell her she can't say it, that is relevant. She has the absolute right to talk to this judge. And again,
No,
I
she
put the camera
does.
there. I don't put the camera on her.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
control what goes out. Okay, so I'm not going to ask my client to not communicate with us. That's
But
just
she
simply not
wasn't
gonna happen.
communicating.
I have
Bruh.
asked her.
Oh my God. Like, dude.
Listen, I get defending your client, okay? And of course, it's his job to say what he's saying. It's the way to defend her, but it's the way he's saying it.
Dude, it's so unbelievable.
How about when Letitia was flipping birds?
Yeah. Hey,
Did Josh Tolini get up there and advocate for her? Did he say no? She was showing these are hand signals that we worked out prior to trial since she's sitting across the room from us. No, he did not get up there and defend her. When Mr. Warner said, if you can't control yourself in that chair, what did he tell her? He was gonna get her a different chair, not a good chair, not the fun chair, not the swingy chair, not the chair that leans back like a straight back chair. It was gonna be the punishment chair. Did Mr. Tolini get up and say anything? No. Did he defend her? No. You know why? Because he knew she did what she was being accused of doing, and it makes an ass out of you and your client when you get up there and go on a rant like this when there's literal camera footage of what your client did. Look what you did to Allie. You done broke Allie. Now she's gone. The clip we're supposed to be watching has been removed. Allie's been removed, and now these fine folks are who are here to see Allie are stuck with me.
I'm so sorry.
Damn it! You broke Amy.
Well, I'm done anyways. I just wanted to go through some of that. If you missed it, I highly suggest watching it though, because it was really interesting to see it all in full. And, we had a couple cute boys to look at, the cute FBI agents and witnesses, some eye candy. It was interesting. A full day. I would not miss it. I'd go back.
Well, I was watching Sarah Boone and watching Mr. Cacciatore, who is the assistant district attorney, and he very clearly has his keys in his pocket. Okay, but he wears a more tailored suit. And so it's rather distracting and it almost looks uncomfortable. Like, I'm concerned for his thighs because I'm very worried about the tightness of the pants in relation to the pokiness that are keys. I'm very worried Mr. Cacciatore is going to get poked in the thigh by those keys.
Yeah, Jen,
I know you didn't watch. It's okay. You don't have.
No, I watched you some before Quinton's thing started, though. I was in there. I just wasn't chatting. Remember, I told you I saw him getting all the Owens all in Sarah's face, making her uncomfortable, leaning right over.
Oh, he was all the way in her bubble, and the way he kept flinging his hand with the pen in it, I thought he was going to smack her, which I wouldn't have been opposed to, but still.
Well, tomorrow, are we going to go over some calls? What do you want to do?
Yes, okay. We should definitely do that. I feel tomorrow we're going to go over some calls.
Yeah.
Didn't we already have this discussion and decide that's what we were going to do?
Yeah, but I just wanted to mention it to the chat too, that was kind of be our plan. But so but we still have a lot of them. We're just on the second live and we've got all of them in April.
Yeah, this is just the tip, y'all.
Yeah. Well, good, because I look forward to it. But are we gonna? No, we do have new calls, Little Red. We have 2 whole months of calls that haven't been played yet, but the trial started, and that was important to both of us. So we just put it on the back burner. It took so long for the calls to come. Honestly, my interests have dwindled a little bit, but Jen and I paid a lot of our hard-earned money for these, and we're going to listen to them, damn it. But
yeah, we played one set. They're on my channel. And then, so tomorrow night is part 2, and that'll be on Allie. It'll be here.
Yeah. And just let me know whenever you want to do part 3, if we're going to do it even maybe one night during the week, or we'll go to next weekend. It doesn't matter. Okay. I do want to do them and get through them because number one, we spend our money on them. I think we should anyways, because we're interested. We're all invested. Our viewers are invested. You guys are invested. But yeah, I'm still concerned. Or not concerned, but there's a couple things that I want to look at closer, we've talked about a couple other things. So I don't want to stop. I want to continue to look at what we've got. But it's just so much going on, dude. I
It
mean,
is.
oh my God, especially for you.
It's a lot. And I'm like, I owe my Patreons. Like, I got to start the bedtime books with Bendy again. And I mean, yeah, I just need better time management, but the problem is I'm just going to come out with it. In order for me to do what I do and be who I am fully, I need to work in a certain amount of fuck around time into my day every day. I need to have a time where I'm not doing like I'm doing. I like, there's games on the iPad that I like to play. Okay. And that is I need that fuck around time. What happens is I get that fuck around time. And then sometimes, like, Matchington is one of the ones I like to play, will give me like an hour of free lives. And all of a sudden I'm on a roll. And, then I'm like, I think I could, so that's where I need to set.
So it's games on the tablet. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was
on
your
the tablet.
Hey,
I watch the Real Housewives of Orange County, because now it's starting to get real good. If you are a fan of Real Housewives of Orange County, it's fitting to get real good.
Kathy said it's like I'm looking in a mirror.
I mean, and then I need to watch something that is outside of true crime. So I watch Real Housewives,
too,
or I
yes.
watch the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. That series just wrapped up. I finally got to sit and watch the end, and I'm very upset, of House of the Dragon. I'm mad about that. There's just and then, I'm going to tell y'all right now, the final season of Stranger Things is about to start soon. Don't call me. Don't expect nothing. Don't expect extras from me. Okay. Like, I probably won't be able to be doing videos or anything like that. I will stream trials. I'll go live. I'll do bedtime books with Bendy, but there's not going to be no new intros, no new outros, nothing that requires any creativity. So I'm going to have to fully focus on the final season. A lot of big things are happening.
Well, yeah, I don't watch any of that, but I probably should. I need some, like, I do have other things. I honestly, like, I want to go live on my second channel. There's a couple, like the Liam Payne situation. I am so interested in that, and
I am too.
We should talk about it one day, because there's a big rabbit hole you can go down. Like, if you just TikTok, like, I went in TikTok last night and just searched his name and then watched it for like 2 hours, every video that came up. Oh my gosh. It was, yeah, very interesting. All right. Well, I'm out here. Look at me.
Also, Maxine is out. The one with Mia Goth, and I have seen just about, like, she's the one that did like Pearl and X. Okay, I keep watching her movies because I cannot figure out. I've watched like 3 or 4 movies that she's been in, and I still couldn't tell you if I actually like Mia Goth or not. I can't figure it out. But Maxine looks good, because they're going to incorporate like the Night Stalker. There's going to be a little Bates Motel in there, Psycho. So you got to watch. I want to watch. It's October, and what does Bendy love more than true crime? Horror.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I love spooky season. It's so fun, and yeah, just with it, we got a lot of fun things planned with the little ones here. But all right, well, I'm looking forward to your video you're making too. Listen to me smacking my lips. See, I notice it now. I never realized I did that, and then now I'm like, when I talk, but I'm looking forward to your video.
Thank you. Don't be hard on yourself, because that's a distinctive trait. And when that whole, ridiculousness with that phone call, right? You know what I'm talking, we all remember that. We don't need to go into it. But the minute that I heard that voice, I knew that was not Allie. I talked to Allie way
Oh,
too much
God.
on the phone. And when Allie is feeling a certain way about something, there's a little in her at the end of some of her words. And that's how I knew it wasn't her voice, but I was 100% sure of it when I didn't hear that little that she does. So
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so you know what? The other day in a chat, somebody was like, Alex Erickson, oh my gosh, like, I love that you called the cops on that person or something. And that was like awesome. And I was like, dude, that was not me. I cannot believe that people.
Allie would never do that. It's not even in her character.
I had no idea anybody was even out in Idaho. I simply don't
Yeah.
believe that's just the truth. So I'm not watching like that. So I just had no idea and I would never get involved. Period.
No.
But anyway.
That was ridiculous. That was
Right.
ridiculous. And yeah, and we'll talk in a minute
All right. Well,
after this is over.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you, Jen, for being here. And
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks
yeah,
for
we'll
having
see
me.
you guys tomorrow. Do you have anything you're doing tomorrow other than the calls with me?
No, okay, so I've been working on this video, and the reason it's taking so long is because I couldn't get it the way I wanted it, and I think I was overthinking and trying to make something happen that just wasn't. I mean, I could have made it happen, but I didn't like it when I did. So then I had to start all over again. And I mean, it is what it is. It'll be good when it comes out. I'm sure you guys will like it, but it has to be right. And I'm the only person that knows the vision that's in my brain. And sometimes it's very difficult, and it's my own brain. It's difficult for me to interpret that vision. Okay. Sometimes I have to start over.
It has to be absolutely perfect, every little detail. That's just how Jen is, which honestly, it works because your videos are really good and you're really good at editing. So
thank you.
All
I'm going for a particular theme and aesthetic, and it needs to be just right. And I won't put it out until it's just right. Well, you'll like it when it gets out there.
All right. Well, I look forward to it. And yeah, thank you guys in the chat. Thank you for everything. And especially just for being here with me and just being there for me. I appreciate it so much.
You deserve it. You're a good person, Allie, and you would do that for anybody else. I know if I called you and said I need to talk, Allie would be like, what's going on?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So,
anytime, any day, even in the middle of the night. I would be there. I love you a little bit. Thank you guys. All right. I'm going to end it. Row 20 more minutes.
Yeah, for real.
Not to say a 20-minute goodbye. I'm just going to hit end and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Bye.